Hello, this is Sarah Brosh. Welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be a video about how Twitter and Jack Dorsey love the woke KKK. Now, I've already explained that the way I'm defining the term woke KKK is anyone who embraces cancel culture and trial by Twitter, and they are basically forming a extrajudicial vigilante mob, and they are implementing immediate and grossly disproportionate and unjust sentences of social death or suicide upon private citizen nobodies for alleged and non-crimes of unwokeness. And sometimes these alleged and non-crimes happened years beforehand, as is the case with me. The Living or Not Being While Black hate crime hoax at this point happened almost 3.5 years ago. I have been living in a hellish nightmare for almost 3.5 years because Yale President Peter Salovey refuses to tell the simple, honest-to-God truth and save my life and human rights career. So, and I do consider the woke KKK, they are, when I say that they're inflicting social death, what I mean by this is that they are basically, it's basically synonymous with trying to drive someone to suicide. But they basically, if they can't actually succeed in driving someone to suicide, they want to inflict social death upon them. And what I mean by this is that they want these persons to be, well, prosecuted if at all possible, but usually the persons have committed no crimes at all. And in many cases have not even done anything wrong in the slightest, as was the case for me. But they want to get these people fired from their jobs, disbarred if they're attorneys, expelled if they're in school, and they want to make it so that these people can never get jobs again, can never show their faces in public again, will be abandoned by, everyone they knew, all of their friends, colleagues, acquaintances, sometimes even family members. So they basically just want to turn this person into a social pariah, a social leper, ostracize them, an outcast, and basically throw them out of the tribe, kick them off the island. And so that's a death sentence, basically. So that's why I call it social death. Or they just want to drive the person to suicide. And this is also why I use the term woke KKK, because that's what the KKK was. They formed mobs, extrajudicial mobs without due process, imposing grossly disproportionate and unjust and immediate sentences for alleged and non-crimes. And they were motivated by racial animus towards black men, predominantly, of course. And in the case of the woke KKK, they are motivated by racial animus, predominantly towards white women, of course. And they were willing even to destroy the Living While Black movement by turning it into a race hoax and a blood sport targeting white women, and in particular vulnerable white women without resources who can't fight back, and especially those with mental health disabilities. So this is why I refer to them as the woke KKK, and I've described that and discussed that in other videos. So why am I saying that that Jack Dorsey and Twitter love the woke KKK? And they do. So it's perfectly obvious to me in particular, because what Jack Dorsey and Twitter have allowed to happen to me in the past 3.5 years now is grotesque, it's evil, it's vile, it's dastardly, it's inhumane, it's shocking, to say the least. It's shocking, to say the least. As long as you consider yourself to be a woke intersectional feminist, and especially if you had a large Twitter following and a blue check mark, basically for the past 3.5 years, Jack Dorsey and Twitter has not only allowed, has not only condoned, but has encouraged you and supported you to terrorize me, to wage campaign after campaign, to destroy my life, to drive me to suicide, to ruin me, to destroy my lifelong human and civil rights, academic and legal careers. As long as you were attacking me, it was no holds barred, anything goes. And to this day, Jack Dorsey and Twitter have not imposed a single disciplinary action, a single sanction against any blue checkmark public figure who tried repeatedly to mob me to suicide over the past 3.5 years. And I have the proof. I've been posting it on my blog. I've been posting it on my Medium channel as a Medium essay. I have the proof. I have all of the screenshots. I've archived everything. I posted a mobbing from Josie Duffy Rice, former president of the appeal, which is now defunct and dead and needs to stay dead. I posted that. In those screenshots, in the mobbing, she's laughing and enjoying driving me to suicide, and she's laughing and cracking jokes at my expense, while me and my supporters and my followers were begging her to stop and telling her that I was on the suicide hotline, and she wouldn't stop. She wouldn't stop. I posted all of the screenshots of when Ijeoma Oluo, the author of So You Want to Talk About Race, tried to mob me. And in the ones that I posted, you can see that, subsequently Ijeoma Oluo has tried to claim that she never tried to mob me, she never tried to get me killed, she never tried to drive me to suicide, she never tried to destroy me or destroy my human and civil rights, academic and legal careers, get me expelled from Yale. She never told people to stalk and harass me in my home, which forced me to flee my home on Yale's campus for my life while I was being taunted by a mob. She never propagated the image around the world that had my dorm room number on it so that everyone knew where to come to harass and stalk me. And you can see right in the screenshots, right in the mobbing, that she's a liar, she's an evil, lying bigot and fraud, because you can see her directing the mobbing as it's happening, and all of her followers and supporters are responding, saying, let's harass her, let's stalk her, let's barricade her door, I can't wait until she kills herself, she's even looks like a Nazi, she's a KKK, Ku Klux Karen, let's get her expelled from Yale, let's get her disbarred as an attorney, so it's all right there. I have the proof. I have the evidence. I have the proof. This is what has happened. Okay? And I'm really sick and tired of being gaslighted and of people pretending that this didn't happen. It happened. I have the proof. I've posted it on my blog. I posted it on my blog. I have the screenshots. I have the archives. I have the proof. This happened. Repeatedly, over the past 3.5 years, Jack Dorsey and Twitter have not only condoned, have not only allowed, but have encouraged and supported blue checkmark public figures to wage campaigns to drive me to suicide and destroy me, because I'm the proof that they're lying bigots and frauds. And did not only did nothing, they encouraged and supported this. They have not sanctioned or disciplined a single blue check public figure who repeatedly tried to mob me to suicide on Twitter over the past 3.5 years. They have done nothing. And what is happening right now, it's almost 3.5 years later. It is basically 3.5 years later. And it's happening. It's all, what's happening now is grotesque. In particular, what's happening now, right this moment on Twitter, it's all, I think it's the same level right now that it was right after George Floyd's killing on May 25th, 2020. I feel like the intensity of the campaigns to destroy me, to drive me to suicide right now are at the same level as they were right after May 25th, 2020, which was George Floyd's killing, where everything just exploded all over again. And I feel like now it's exploding all over again. And the reason why this is happening right now is because of Richard Painter. Former White House ethics lawyer Richard Painter, with 750,000 Twitter followers. So in the middle of September 2021, so about almost 2 months ago, he started attacking me relentlessly and viciously on Twitter. And the reason why he did this is because he was using me as a proxy to attack Brian Leiter, University of Chicago law and philosophy professor Brian Leiter, because he had some personal issue, personal vendetta, obsessive delusional personal vendetta against Brian Leiter. And so Richard Painter just noticed that Brian Leiter has steadfastly and unfailingly stood by my side during this entire hellish 3.5-year nightmare. And I love Brian Leiter, and he is a man of integrity and principled, and he's a wonderful person, and he's been a guardian angel to me, and I love him. So Richard Painter noticed that this had happened and was happening, that Brian Leiter has steadfastly stood by my side since the Living or Napping While Black hate crime hoax at Yale. And so Richard Painter started using me as a proxy to attack Brian Leiter. And that's why Richard Painter started attacking a private citizen nobody, an innocent human and civil rights attorney, an innocent Yale grad student who had already almost died countless times in the past 3.5 years, who had already lost her human and civil rights, academic and legal careers, who had already lost everything, who was struggling, who had only very, very recently was able to secure a low-paying temp job that's just barely keeping me off the streets after struggling for months to get a job, because my reputation, my livelihood has just been decimated by the Yale administration, by the moral outrage industry, by the ACLU, by the fake news press, by the New York Times, decimated. I was terrified that I was going to end up starving to death on the streets, and that could still very easily happen. So Richard Painter started attacking me, and then after Richard Painter started attacking me, and then Brian Leiter defended me, I defended myself. I started documenting all of the abuse and harassment and stalking from Richard Painter and his minions, and the waves of mobs that Richard Painter incited against me. So everything that's happening right now, and that's been happening for the past almost 2 months now, is because of Richard Painter. He incited all of this insanity that's happening all over again, that's basically at the same level, if not worse, than it was right after George Floyd's killing in May 25th, 2020. And Twitter and Jack Dorsey are not only not doing anything about it, they're encouraging it, they're supporting it. And the reason why Twitter and Jack Dorsey are supporting it and love the woke KKK and love when the woke KKK relentlessly attacks me, and Jack Dorsey and Twitter love when the woke KKK tries to drive me to suicide, tries to destroy me, tries to silence me. There's a massive effort underway to silence me right now. And this is because, paradoxically, when Richard Painter has been relentlessly waging his campaign to destroy me and drive me to suicide for the past 2 months, he's been helping me get the truth out about the witch hunt at Yale and the subsequent global defamation campaign against me that almost got me killed. He's helping me, right? But because of that, then there's like a subsequent backlash. So now there's this massive effort underway to silence me, and the attacks against me and the campaigns to destroy me are just insane right now. They're insane. And Twitter and Jack Dorsey are encouraging this. And Twitter and Jack Dorsey, I'm going to talk about this more in another video, but they have actually permanently banned me from Twitter for reporting this egregious and grotesque and vile abuse and harassment and stalking that's being perpetrated against me right now. And right now what's happening is there's campaign after campaign after campaign. They're not satisfied that I'm alive, that they destroyed my career, destroyed my reputation, destroyed my life. They're not satisfied with that. They want me dead. They want me dead. What's happening right now on Twitter, make absolutely no mistake about it, is a campaign to try to get me killed. They want me dead. They want me dead because they want to silence me, because I am the proof my existence is an existential threat to their ideologies and careers. I am the proof that they are lying bigots and frauds. Please understand that. And I'm so sick and tired of people saying, we're not trying to drive Sarah to suicide. Yes, you are. If you're trying to get me fired from my low-paying temp job, which is only barely keeping me off the streets, and I only recently secured this job after struggling for months to find a job, any job. I couldn't get a job at a gas station. I finally got a job, and do you want to know what I do at this job? I stop the evictions of families from their apartments. But this is not okay for the woke KKK. They can't even allow me to have this, because they can't allow me to live, because my existence is an existential threat to their ideologies and their careers. So they want me dead. So there's campaign after campaign after campaign right now on Twitter to try to get me fired from my low-paying temp job that's barely keeping me off the streets, where I serve the low-income population and I stop the evictions of families from their apartments. And the woke KKK is trying to take that away from me so that I end up dead. The woke KKK is trying to get me kicked off of every social media and fundraising site that I have that are keeping me alive. That are the funds that I use to pay my wonderful attorneys at Randazza Legal Group, who are helping me not only to save my life and career, but to restore due process and equal protection at Yale and everywhere. They can't even allow me to have this. I'm making almost no money, but I still need that money that I'm making from those fundraising sites and from my social media accounts. I need my social media accounts to save my life, to get the truth out there about the witch hunt at Yale, to end cancel culture and trial by Twitter, to end the woke KKK, which is why they're attacking me and trying to take them away from me. So I just want to make this point perfectly clear. You are trying to drive someone to suicide when you are trying to decimate their life. Trying to drive someone to suicide is basically synonymous with inflicting social death upon them, calling them to be disbarred, expelled, fired, thrown out of all good society, made unemployable, made destitute, made penniless. What do you think happens in those situations when you do that to people? They kill themselves. How many more suicides do we have to see? Mike Adams, Alec Halauka, David Bucci, Caroline Flack, Austin Hines. How many more suicides do we need to see? We know this is what happened. It's just like what Ann Applebaum said in her The Atlantic article. We know that this is what happens. You are trying to drive me to suicide, and you know it, and everyone knows it. And stop pretending like you're not. And what's even sicker than that is that they actually pretend that they're doing social justice work by driving private citizen nobodies to suicide on social media via cancel culture and trial by Twitter without due process. And not only are they getting innocent people killed, innocent private citizen nobodies killed, they are destroying us. We are destroying ourselves. This is destroying our legal system. It's destroying due process. It's destroying equal protection. It's destroying the Federal Civil Rights Act. It's destroying freedom of speech. It's destroying us. It's destroying us. And it's destroying our egalitarian public space. It's destroying our society. So if you don't care about driving innocent private citizen nobodies to suicide for moral outrage industry money, then at least care about the fact that you are destroying our society. You are destroying our society. Okay? And so Jack and Twitter, they are happy to have this happen to me on their platform. They permanently banned me for reporting this egregious abuse and harassment. They're happy to have people, to have the woke KKK drive me to have Richard Painter drive me to suicide on their platform. They are happy about that because I have been exposing their blue checkmark public figures who participated in the witch hunt at Yale as the lying bigots and frauds that they are. Please understand that. Please know that. This is why Twitter and Jack Dorsey love the woke KKK. This is what is happening. Okay, I don't want this video to get too much longer, but I just really wanted to get that point across. What's happening right now, what Jack Dorsey and Twitter are allowing to happen to me right now on their platform is sick. It's sick, it's evil, it's inhumane. I just think human beings are inherently evil now, and I have lost all faith in humanity. And everything that Jack Dorsey has said about wanting to make Twitter safer, is just, and wanting it to be a public square, is just, we know that all of this is a lie now. He's lying through his teeth. He's lying through his teeth. We know this is a lie. Okay, I'm gonna go. I don't want this to get too long. Obviously I'm gonna make more videos about this issue. I love you all so much. I will have all of my fundraising links below. PayPal me, GoFundMe, direct link to my wonderful attorneys at Randazza Legal Group, and I will also have links to my blog posts on this topic, and I will make more videos on this topic. Okay, have a great night, everybody.